Story 1. I'm a little older, but from the Profit Bender B. Rodriguez. I'm going to turn my on-off switch to off. Story 2. 401k with employee match and Roth individual retirement account. Not putting away as much as I would like. But frankly, I cannot afford to be overly cynical about investing for retirement. No one is coming to save me when the time comes. Story 3. Aliens will come and take humanity as pets. I am going to live the dog's life, lounging around, waiting for my alien to come home all day. Story 4. Living below my means, saving in my retirement plan and built a good amount of equity in my home over the past 10 years. Hopefully, I can sell the home in 6 to 7 years and move to a lower-cost living area to work part-time or farm. I am 36 years old. Story 5. Look, I am still trying to do the get married, buy a house, and have kids phase. Retirement may be a luxury I cannot afford. Story 6. Put away $100 a month and hope for the best in a bank mutual fund, even though I am pretty sure it is not the best option. My employer also provides matching in the 401k plan, so I participate in that as well. Story 7. As a collapse victim, I will probably die in the next resource wars or maybe choose euthanasia due to my body being filled with nanoplastics and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Story 8. Serious answer. Financial independence, retire early. Bobblehead 3-fund portfolio. Reinvesting employee stock purchase plan into market-wide accounts, and maxing out 401k, Roth individual retirement account, and health savings account annually. Story 9. Save as much as I can in my 401k and Roth individual retirement account and 1. Pray the market does not negatively impact my nest egg. 2. Hope the world remains stable by the time I retire, approximately 23 years from now. 3. Maintain my health to avoid decline in old age. If I am fortunate, Social Security may still be available, but I am not relying heavily on it. Story 10. I mostly use the Boglehead strategy. Nothing is guaranteed. Social Security can fail, stocks can fail, bonds can fail. I just try to make reasonable savings in risk-appropriate assets, not look at it too much, and enjoy my life now as best I can. Story 11. Not having children. I naturally do not want them anyway, but I am excited about the prospect of being able to retire before my 60s. Story 12. Live below your means. When you get a raise or promotion, increase your 401k contributions. Contribute to a Roth individual retirement account as long as you are eligible and maximize your 401k match. If your company offers a health savings account and that type of plan works for you or your family, that is another good investment vehicle. Since graduating college and working as a server for many years, now after working 5 years in my professional career, my income has increased by 2.5 times, but my monthly spending has only increased by 50%. Story 13. I have made some bad decisions in my life and have a chronic illness that will likely take me out by age 40 to 45. I am 37 right now. I am starting the process of withdrawing my pension to travel and experience everything I can before then. Story 14. Currently trying to set aside 25% of my paycheck to my 401k because I know I will not be able to do this much when planning for a child and buying a house. I hope that if I max out my Roth individual retirement account every year until I am 67, it will be enough to retire on. For anyone curious, I am only investing in Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, and Vanguard Total World Stock Index Fund. I will not invest in bonds until I am around 55. Story 15. I put 15% of my paycheck into a $401,000 plan. The company contributes 4%. I hope that will be enough, but it is really all I can afford to save at this point. In the worst-case scenario, I may get a part-time job at a hardware store or something to teach young people how to do handyman tasks. Or I could die tomorrow. You never know. Story 16. Company matched 401k and investing in indexes with what I have left over. Pay down all debt, excluding the mortgage at 2.5%, and hope I can retire when I am in my mid-50s. Story 17. I have been saving and buying stocks since I was earning $11 per hour at age 22. I am now 34 and have a decent amount saved. I will continue doing that. Just keep holding on. Here is some advice I received. Treat yourself as a bill. Every paycheck you have to pay for gas, rent, electricity, insurance, cell phone, and other expenses. You give your money to all these companies. Give yourself some of that money too. Treat yourself as a bill. No matter what, pay yourself every paycheck. Even if you start with just $5. The more you do it and see it grow, the more you will want to save and invest. For people who say they cannot afford $5 every 2 weeks, you are lying to yourself. Story 18. I bought a house in the woods with well water and a good water filtration system, solar panels that sell power to the grid, land maintained for fire control, boats, all-terrain vehicles, firearms, an orchard, a garden, a smoker, a dehydrator, a chicken coop, a hot tub, a storm shelter, and a beautiful Norwegian pine forest full of wild raspberries, blueberries, and a kitchen equipped for preserving food. I am building guest cabins for friends and family who want a retreat space. I don't have many bills, just internet, phone, propane, gas for the car, animal feed, and insurance. I have a very peaceful quality of life with a very low annual cost. I buy lots of cheap produce, preserve it, and store it for later. I usually get a cow once a year, have it divided, and keep it in a storage freezer in the garage. My goal is to store 10 years of food. I plan to relax and take care of the land where I live. When my parents pass away, I will have enough money to retire, and I have enough saved now to not have to work until then. I am passionate about nature and animals. I make friends with the deer and always have many wild animals around. I have bat boxes, groups of hummingbirds, and I put out birdseed, sugar water, and salt licks. My plan is to just enjoy the woods and live out my life here. My friends can visit whenever they want for weeks at a time. It is peaceful. Story 19. I do not have one, but I almost have 2,000 saved at age 31, so I am doing better than most statistically. Story 20. Investing so I can retire at 60. With the way our government has handled things for decades, the alternative is to work beyond 70 to survive, just because all parties are too scared to lose the biggest voter group. Story 21. I am abandoning everything. I am abandoning the rent system, mortgages, marriage, and children. I am building a minimalist camper platform, saving a nest egg for emergencies, and getting a low-paying part-time remote job to support myself. I am going to be a hippie traveling writer with my dog and spend more time doing things that make me happy to be alive. I reject the rat race 9-to-5 lifestyle. Story 22. I keep reading these doomsday posts where people say they cannot save because of various reasons. It does not take much to start an individual retirement account. Just add what you can, $5 here, $50 there. Do it now while you are young. You honestly cannot afford to save $10 a week? Story 23. Die of a severe cancer in my 50s due to plastic pollution if the world does not melt us all first. Disagree, older generations. See you all in the afterlife. Story 24. Die from cancer, car accident, heart disease, or liver disease before I can retire. Hopefully quickly, so I do not have much medical debt and loved ones can have some money rather than bills. Even Stephen Jobs died from pancreatic cancer. Story 25. My diet. I will slump over at work, and if they are considerate enough, they might hose off the desk before passing it on to the next person. Story 26. Honestly, a running car in a closed garage. My partner and I do not have children or much family, and we have both agreed that when we are ready, we will go out on our terms. Story 27. I haven't spent a dime on eating out or entertainment outside of Netflix in the last 6 months. My bank account only increased by $100 during that time. Considering I put 2% towards retirement, I suppose I'll work until I am 93. Story 28. Work until I physically or mentally cannot continue anymore, then wander off and die alone somewhere. Ideally, shield my family from as much financial burden as possible on my way out. Cremate me or dispose of my remains in the cheapest way possible. It makes no difference. Story 29. Contribute as much as possible to a 401k, Roth individual retirement account, and investments. Then advance through corporate positions as quickly as possible from age 30 to 60. Story 30. Spend all my time where my parents were born. a small village in Lebanon named Kfar Huna. It is nestled in a valley of mountains. I will grow the best marijuana available and become the local hippie. Story 31. 40-year freelancer here. Some tips that might help. 1. Pay off credit card debt. If possible, only charge what you can pay off in full the next month. 2. Never just pay the minimum due on cards. That can lead to a debt trap. 3. Even if you have an employer-sponsored retirement plan, open a Roth individual retirement account. 4. The house always wins. After President Bush, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was near 6,000 and is now closing at 40,000. I have Dow Jones, Standard & Poor's 500, and National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations exchange-traded funds in my Roth account. 5. Time is on your side for long-term growth. 6. Pay yourself monthly by adding to your Roth individual retirement account or high-interest savings account. 7. Add to your mortgage payment every month to shorten the term from 30 years to 20 years. 8. Research the health savings account. 9. Have a partner who understands the long-term perspective. 10. Do not panic during market dips. Use your cash to buy the market as mentioned before. Story 32. Live off the land, also known as hide in massive offices or warehouses, surviving on coffee and pizza parties. Story 33. I just pay into a pension, so pension plus savings. If I have no children, I will do my best to spend it all because I will be damned if the government has it. Story 34. I would probably throw myself into the Atlantic Ocean off the sea cliffs on Achill Island, assuming I can ever afford to visit Ireland. Story 35. If the world continues as it has over the last 10 years, I will be long gone before I should be able to retire. Story 36. I am a 31-year-old male. I contribute 6% to my Roth 401k, which my company matches at approximately 2 to 4%. However, I believe age 65 is too old to retire, and many people do not reach that age, so I also put $500 a month into a mutual fund. I plan to increase this amount once my student loans are paid off. Moving away from traditional investments, I occasionally put some money into cryptocurrency and plan to eventually save enough to invest in real estate. Besides these plans, there are things I do not specifically prepare for, such as inheritance. My parents and grandparents are not wealthy but live comfortably. I aim to set up my life to be independently able to retire comfortably. Story 37. I am 41 years old, but I am immature, so I will answer like I am the target audience. I have saved around $100,000 in 401k plans, and I honestly just kind of rely on my parents passing away without using their entire retirement on healthcare. Story 38. Could not afford children, but I am on track for an early retirement. Saved money and bought a house. Then saved money to upgrade to a better house. Did not sell the first one and rented it out. It will be paid off when I am 44. The house I live in will be paid off when I am 48. Really want to retire at 50, but it is probably going to be closer to 55. Story 39. I am on track to retire in my 40s. If I stopped saving today, I could still retire in my 50s by just letting my investments grow. Edit. I'm not sure why I am getting downvoted, but okay. Story 40. Since incarceration provides better medical coverage, commit the least severe non-violent felony, such as robbing a bank for $1. Story 41. A bullet. Not even joking. I work in elder care information technology, so although I am trying to give the elders the best life they can have, I also see how trapped, lonely, and frustrated some can be. The moment I feel trapped in my body, I am out. Until then, I will be doing what I love, making money that way. I am happy with my life, so I am happy to die having lived it. Story 42. I am a bit older at 37, but I am currently maxing out my 401k, health savings account, and Roth individual retirement account while throwing extra into a brokerage account. I hope to do that for the foreseeable future, but you never know. I have been through a couple of layoffs, and that gives me post-traumatic stress disorder. Story 43. 401k with matching contributions, paying off my house and a self-driving car. Thankfully, my company in the aerospace and defense industry is known for having not only an industry-leading 401k match benefit but also one of the longest average employee tenures in America. Story 44. I am slightly outside that age range, but my retirement plan focuses on building generational wealth. My plan is to die in a messy and gruesome workplace accident and hope my daughter can successfully sue the company for a large payout. Story 45. Trying my best to save and invest as much as possible, especially before I have any children. I would like to retire early, but that will not be possible here in the United States. However, I will likely be moving to my family's hometown in Mexico. It is old and small but has a very low cost of living, which feels like heaven compared to working until I am 62 here. Story 46. I am a high school teacher, so my main plan is my pension. Assuming Social Security still exists, I should receive a small payment there each month as well, but it will not be much. I have been putting a small amount each month into my 403b retirement plan, but there is not much there yet. Last year, I started a Roth individual retirement account as well. Story 47. Probably just walk into the woods, find a cozy bunch of thick brush, and lie down underneath like a cat or a fox. Story 48. I have a 401k that will probably last me for the 2 years I am out of the workforce before I die due to all the stress from my life. Story 49. I am jumping into the caldera of a volcano. Alzheimer's disease runs in my family, and I want to go out on my own terms. Story 50. Work hard in jobs until age 65, contributing 10% to the retirement savings plan and living within frugal, reasonable means. Then hope the interest on the retirement savings is enough to live on each year. Finally, when it's time for hospice care, say goodbye to the family. And stop taking medications with a do not resuscitate order. I am not working all these years just to use it all up in the last 10 years of staring out the window. The family receives what remains of the retirement savings distributed in college funds and family retirement accounts. Story 51. I am 32 years old. I currently make $75,000 annually working for a university as an engineer. I also receive about $20,000 annually for Veterans Affairs Disability, and my spouse brings in another $10,000 annually from her current part-time job. I have been contributing to a Roth individual retirement account on and off. I put 10% of my paycheck into my 401k and 457b plans with employer matching of about 5%. I started saving for retirement at age 24. I am on track to own the house I purchased in 2021 within 5 to 8 years, and I plan on growing that property equity as I get older. Between the home equity, retirement accounts, brokerage account, and savings accounts, we have approximately $200,000 in net worth. I need to keep my spouse happy and feeling respected. Few things could jeopardize my financial future more than a divorce, and retirement would not be enjoyable without her. As for what I will be doing every day, it is hard to know what I will want when that day comes, but I like to think now that I will be working on acreage I eventually buy, trying to convert it from degraded agricultural land back into forest. When I am too old to live independently, send me to the retirement home with the best Wi-Fi. The local area network parties will be legendary and endless. Story 52. My mother died at 47, my grandmother at 56, and my grandfather at 63. The current retirement age here is around 70. My plan is to enjoy life and think about retirement when I am 55 or so. In any case, we have a social security system here, so it is not like I will have zero money. Looking at the world, it would be a miracle if I reach 70 without a third world war. Story 53. I'm kind of expecting some type of apocalypse to kill me before I reach retirement age. If it does not, I will work until I cannot anymore. Then I will do something to get arrested since that is cheaper housing than a retirement home. Story 54. Age 35 right now, teacher. Age 59, house paid off. Age 59 and a half, can tap into Roth individual retirement accounts. Age 62, can collect Social Security benefits at a reduced amount. Age 64, eligible for full teacher pension. Story 55. More than half of Americans of any age and ethnicity have no savings, do not own a home, and have no stock portfolio. It is a class war. Story 56. I plan on the banking system and economy collapsing before I get there. Anything you do for retirement now is going to be wasted effort, in my opinion. Story 57. Invest heavily in technology in the stock market and hope this helps me through rising inflation and eventually puts me in a position to retire comfortably. Story 58. This is not the answer you want to hear, but my plan is to continue saving about $4,000 per month for the next 30 years and retire with around $5 million in savings. Story 59. I will be able to retire at 55. I am grateful that every job I have worked at offered a retirement savings plan with employer matching. I do not know much about it, but it is there and growing steadily. I have always wondered how people retire if they work in industry or construction and have to save their own money. There would be no way I would be responsible enough to do that. Story 60. I have a low-interest mortgage, so I will try to climb the housing ladder or try my hand at being a landlord when I move to a new house. My employer offers a matching contribution, and my goal is to have a fully funded Roth individual retirement account. As long as I live below my means, I should be able to succeed. Story 61. I have capital value life insurance, Roth individual retirement accounts, and Social Security. I invest 30 to 40% of my income. I am going to buy a large plot of land with an artisanal well where I will produce most of my own food, water, and power. I am looking to retire a few years before I turn 60. Story 62. STEM Doctor of Philosophy student, graduating in 6 months. Contribute a little to a 401k, treat investments like a retirement plan, obtain patents that work for me, secure a job paying $500,000 a year. Story 63. 15% of my salary is automatically contributed to retirement accounts, invested in a well-diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. That is really all it takes to retire on time and comfortably. You do not have to be rich, you just need to be disciplined. Many people are holding themselves back by being overly cynical or nihilistic. The future is coming, and it does not take much to be prepared for it. The difference between being prepared and not being prepared is significant. Story 64. About 80% of these posts are extremely unintelligent and come from people likely spending large amounts of money on unwise things as well. That is typical behavior for Generation Z. Story 65. 34-year-old male working for the state of Wisconsin Department of Corrections. Plan to work until age 54 and then live off the Wisconsin State Pension Plan until able to access the Roth 457B plan at age 59 and a half. Story 66. Provided that I am 2 years away from the maximum age limit, I am disheartened that I do not have any retirement plan in place yet. I have recently started earning an amount that I can safely contribute to my retirement fund. I look forward to having my boyfriend, who will be my husband in the near future, work hard while I live a comfortable retired life. However, we know we have a hard time ahead before we can actually retire to live a life of peace and quiet. Story 67. I probably will not be able to retire. I am contributing to a retirement savings plan called a 401k. But that does not mean it will be enough or that the funds will still be available when I reach retirement age. Story 68. Boring dystopia. In other words, live below your means and contribute to your 401k and Roth IRA as best you can. Story 69. A few years outside this, but I thought this would help somebody. I work for a railroad. We have a pension that we pay into, and at age 60 we can retire. After 30 years of service, you have full retirement, as well as a 401k. Management has, on top of that, another retirement plan. Story 70. Buy an affordable property in Malta to qualify for a European Union passport. Declare non-residency and live in Malta for 366 days to qualify as a tax resident. Dispose of all assets with little to no tax, transfer money to Europe, relax on beaches, and travel. Story 71. We will probably die before it comes to that. I do not think we will ever have anything good going when we are old. Most likely, World War III will get us all. Story 72. Do not buy a new car until it is really necessary, and then pay it off quickly. Cancel your credit card. Do not save money. Invest it in a long-term money market fund. Story 73. I am 34 years old. My job offers a very good pension payout, But the downside is that I contribute heavily to my pension, 13%. As long as I can maintain this, I can take my private pension at 60 years old and retire outright, rather than waiting until the national pension age in the United Kingdom, which is 68. I can either take a large lump sum with lower monthly payments or a smaller lump sum with higher payments. The plan is to take the larger lump sum. Story 74. Grow lots of cannabis and sell it. Live like a Rastafarian king. If I get arrested, free accommodation until I die. Story 75. I am 50 now, but here is what I wished I had done. Follow the inside traders. Invest just a few $100s here and there by following the right people, and in 10 years you will be able to make a down payment. There are even applications for it. Story 76. Start saving as soon as possible, or follow your country's retirement plan. I am 50 and it feels like I was 25 just a few years ago. Story 77. Forced retirement at 65, so work until then building up the largest pension and savings I can. Go on a 2 to 3 year tour around the world with a motorhome and experience as much of each culture as possible. Then relax and enjoy my life doing whatever takes my fancy each day. Story 78. All these American perspectives are depressing, to be honest. I'll get a state pension, plus a pension from employer contributions. I know that won't equal my last paycheck. Currently, I am hoping that having paid off our mortgage before that time will largely make up for the difference. I haven't done the math, but at this age I have other priorities. I am trying to pay off student loans, working on renovating our house, planning a wedding, and maybe kids in the future. Not to mention actually living life and traveling. Story 79. Maintain a regular work schedule from 9 to 5, live frugally, and invest the difference in stocks, bonds, funds, or real estate. Achieve financial independence and retire early, then relocate to a jurisdiction with lower taxes and cost of living. Consider changing fields or starting your own business for higher income if the opportunity arises. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.